Super Tuesday voting is underway this afternoon in 14 states.
The results tonight could go a long way in determining who will be the Democratic nominee to take on President Trump this fall. Brandon Scholz is president and CEO of the Wisconsin Grocers Association and part of our election night pundit panel.
Welcome
been a while.
Early. Good to see you, Brandon. Yeah.
So what are we going to look for tonight?
You want to look for a couple of things. You want to look at the top of the card. So this is really simple. How many delegates does Joe Biden get, and how many does Bernie Sanders get? And you're going to look at the two biggest states, California, which Sanders should do the best in, and Biden should do well in Texas. However, Bernie Sanders has been working Texas pretty well. So now you got to come across the rest of the country. You go up in New England, Sanders likely to do there. You go from North Carolina all the way to Oklahoma. That should be pretty good country for Joe Biden. Then you got some toss-up states. There's Minnesota that could go for Sanders, but maybe Biden, because Amy Klobuchar endorsed Joe Biden. So you have all this going. So you want to watch who gets how many votes. Does Joe Biden get in the 400s and Sanders gets in the 400s? That's going to be interesting.
So most of the conversation is about Sanders and Biden, but this is the first real test for Michael Bloomberg as well. It's the first time he's on the ballot. Does he have to win to justify all of the hundreds of millions of dollars that he has spent to decide if it was money? Was it a good investment?
Depends whose side you're on. I don't think there's any question that he won't win, but he has to come out respectable. Everybody's got to get 15% of the vote to be able to claim those delegates. And in a four-way race, it's a lot easier than the six-way and other beta races have. So what does Bloomberg need? Bloomberg needs votes. He needs delegates to come out of this, and he needs a respectable number to be a player. What if he comes out with 200 or 250 delegates out of all these states that we have up today? He's a player from here on out coming to Milwaukee. Same with Elizabeth Warren. What if she picks up 200 votes? And now you start to say, okay, is it a Warren-Sanders deal, or is it a Biden-Bloomberg deal? Where do they line up? Once Super Tuesday is over, they're still going to all the rest of the states to have these. They're in it for the long haul. Probably everybody except maybe Elizabeth Warren doesn't have the resources. You know, Joe Biden's back in the game. The establishment has come forward and is putting endorsements up for Joe Biden. They're giving him money. You know, you're going to hear the comeback kid pretty soon because that line come up. So.
Will Elizabeth Warren stay in if she doesn't win her home state of Massachusetts tonight?
I don't think she will, but I think she stays in. You know, I think it's the polls.
You don't think she'll win Massachusetts?
No, the polls that I've seen show Sanders doing pretty well in New England all the way through.
So, and where do the Mayor Pete and Amy votes go?
Well, you would think that the endorsement says they go to Biden, but I've seen polling, and you look at, remember the polls that say your first choice is Pete Buttigieg, but the second choice for those voters is somebody else, and they are not all Biden. So his votes could be split up between Biden and Sanders. You just really don't know, but you have to put strength in his endorsement. You have to put strength in his asking his voters to support him. Same with Klobuchar. But Sanders is expected to win Minnesota. So, you know, it's been a very crazy season. It's been hard to read where things are going to go. Each of these states, nobody's been able to call exactly correctly. Nobody called the depth of the Biden victory in South Carolina. So there's...
And he could sweep the South off that bump from South Carolina. There's 6 southern states.
Yeah, he'd go right from Virginia, North Carolina, right over to Oklahoma, pick those up, and then, you know, Colorado is probably goes to Sanders. So, you know, the polling shows that there's been a lot of movement. The polling shows that there's been a lot of swing for Bloomberg has come up. So, yeah, the money, that $500 billion he spent to get here today is, you know, it likely pays off and it keeps him in the game. I don't think anybody bails out after tonight, though, unless Elizabeth Warren gets absolutely nothing. Then I think then it's over.
It's going to be an interesting night. It's a completely different campaign than it was 2 days ago.
Oh, without a doubt. I think the seismic shift out of South Carolina, the people's opinions of, you know, is Joe Biden a viable candidate now? Should we support him? I think a lot of those questions were answered. Had he just won South Carolina by 30 or 40%, maybe it wouldn't be as strong. But that 50% plus victory for him was substantial, and it was enough to have, again, you know, you're hearing Bernie Sanders talk about the establishment's afraid of me. They're coming on board. They're ginning up, and they are. I mean, that's what's going on right now.
Happened 4 years ago as well.
We saw that happen once. It's happening again.
Brandon, thanks for being with us.
We'll be seeing a lot of you very soon.
Interesting year.
We appreciate it, Brandon. Good to see you.